1 minute. 1 minute. You get all serious. You are listening to KSKQ 89.5 FM in Ashland, Oregon, and you're listening to Art on the Airwaves with Cammy Davis. This is Art on the Airwaves with Cammy Davis on KSKQ 89.5 FM in Ashland, Oregon. And I am here today, June 19th, and this show is about art and the business of art. I have a couple of guests on my show today. Live in the studio, I have Wayne Ching, who is an art supporter who lives in Maryland in the winter and then here in Medford in the summer. And we're going to talk to him in a second, as well as Jennifer Pepin, who is my call-in guest from the J. Pepin Gallery in Portland. So I just got back from Seattle from watching my youngest daughter, Paige, graduate from the University of Washington last weekend. I'm such a proud mom, and she already has a job in her chosen profession. She's going to be the head of marketing and videography at Western Neon in the Soto district of Seattle. She's going to be starting next week, and I can just picture her. She's 21, and this is her first big job, and she's so excited, and she's so right for the position. So I can't wait to see the videos that she creates and the press and marketing she does for the company. So congratulations to Paige. I had a great trip to Seattle, and I was able to interview a couple of artists while I was there for the art column that I do for Lux Beat magazine. I interviewed Chris Foster from Portland, and then also David Castleberry from Charleston. They are both going to be featured artists and be profiled in that column. If you go to the website right now, you can read the article about me, which is what started the whole thing, them asking me to write the articles. So you go to luxebeatmag.com, and that's posted right now. And then the first one that I'm writing, which is about Cheryl S. Williams, who was my guest on the last Art on the Airwaves, that will be upcoming in their next edition. While I was away in Seattle and Portland and the coast, I also placed my paintings in 2 galleries that I haven't exhibited at before. So that was a really fun part to my trip. I put 2 paintings in the J. Pepin Gallery, and that's who we're going to be talking to today. My call-in guest is the owner of that gallery. And then I also put a painting in 2nd Street Gallery in Bandon. And the 2nd Street Gallery has carried my jewelry for a couple of years, but this is the first time I've had one of my pieces of art there, so I'm really excited. Thank you to them for their support. And those are both beautiful galleries. If you're traveling around Oregon, you might want to look them up. I'm certainly glad that I did. Upcoming shows for Art on the Airwaves. On July 3rd, I'm going to have Josh from the Rogue Valley Messenger as my guest. I think this is going to be a really informative show for artists and for entrepreneurs. Kind of talking to him, we're going to get some information on how to get if you're exhibiting in a show or you have an art opening, how to get that into the paper, what they look for, and information like that. If you have any questions you want me to ask him, just shoot me an email. It's cammydavisart@gmail.com. My name is spelled C-A-M-M-Y, so cammydavisart@gmail. And then on July 17th, I'm going to have tattoo artist Canyon Webb. He gave me my recent tattoo on my wrist. If you watch today's video on YouTube, you'll get to see a picture of it because I'm holding it in front of the camera right now. So he did this really cool video on my wrist. He's going to be my guest on July 17th, as well as a live musician in the studio, which is local singer Darren Wayne. So mark your calendars for that. I want to talk for a few minutes with my studio guest. Wayne Ching is his name, and he's such a great supporter of the arts in both here in Maryland and here in our area. And he saw me a few years ago is when I met Wayne. And he saw me. I tend to make an impression because I was like running around crazy. Yeah, he's laughing. Crazy videotaping this art event. And he's like, who is that crazy artist? I must meet her. So welcome to the show, Wayne.
It's great being here.
So tell me, what brings you, what do you look for when you come to our area? I know I've seen you at a couple of local art events so far. So what do you do when you come to our area?
Well, let me put it this way. I sort of retired 10 years ago and started thinking about legacy. So I thought, what a good way for me to spend my time by going around scouting to find grassroots upstarts that can stage projects with measurable outcomes that are fun, innovative, replicable, and sustainable.
I love that. Now, Wayne, for those of you who haven't had the pleasure of meeting him yet, he's funded a few things that I've been part of, and so then I know, of course, that there's more, but I know there was a mural at the Rouge School. I know you, one thing that I was part of helping to organize for you was it was a summer school art program for the kids at Rouge.
That was 2012.
That was very cool.
July.
And Sean Noman, a friend of mine, an artist friend of mine, helped with the clay on that. And then, what else? Oh, lighting for the Kirby Gallery that we were just talking about.
Yes.
That's one of your...
Yeah. That's right.
And then a couple of... You gave me an award, which, touched me so much. It was after the first summer we met. It was the Trailblazer Award. And one of the things that I wanted to say about you and to people listening, what I think is really cool about Wayne, one of the many things that's very cool about him, is that he doesn't just fund projects, but the funding method that he uses, which he calls a microfunding, encourages others to donate and support our local arts community as well. I feel like, although the monetary sponsorship has helped me quite a bit, I feel like it's your enthusiasm and emotional support that has really meant the most to me, and I think everyone can give that to an artist.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you.
I'd like to do more of that. So,
Well, I've come to the point of thinking of you as a mentor. It's like I watch my calendar. So Wayne goes to Maryland in the winter, and then he comes back here in the summer. So it's
That's
like
right.
I kind of watch my calendar.
That's right.
Wayne's on his way.
That's right.
And I'm really excited to announce that Wayne is going to be sponsoring Edgy Art events this year. And I those of you who listen to the show on a regular basis know a little bit about it. It's an event that I created to try to have a low-cost way for artists to get involved with venues, and together we create a strong cultural tourism destination in our area. It's very hard to do all that work on my own, and so I was debating this year on how I was going to move forward, and then Wayne showed up on the scene, and so I'm just so thankful for that. Thank you.
Yeah, and I look at it as an opportunity to help some upstarts as well. Real grassroots upstarts, people who really show the potential to get things done and to turn something that may be a little bit abstract into something real, abstract, like in sometimes the way how art can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Make it sustainable.
Yeah, you have certain criteria. Sustainability is one of them, measurable outcome. He has like certain criteria. So when he approaches me and asks like what project could he look at in our area, and he has it outlined. I love that about you. And it kind of actually helps encourage me to also keep outlining what I'm doing with my business, that organizational thing that you do. So I saw you yesterday at two different events, and they were so much fun. First of all, I didn't know that Wayne was invited. I had just kind of gotten invited last minute. This was to the Ashland Art Center's annual donor luncheon at the Ashland Springs Hotel, and I turned around, and there was Wayne. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So I saw you there. That was a lot of fun. That was very, okay. And then I popped out that Whitney Rolfe had invited me to see Chuck Close's Face Forward exhibit at the Schneider Art Museum last night. What did you think of that?
Really, really great to take a look at all the work. And as I was looking at it, the two of you were examining the art very carefully. And it made me think how much patience and dedication goes into an art career, because those paintings were not done overnight.
No.
And it just took a lot of time, a lot of precision, a lot of patience. And I think that's one of the benefits of art is even if you don't become famous or sell a lot of your art, you get trained to to be disciplined.
Oh, for sure.
Delayed gratification.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think, like, it's sad that the art is going out of the schools nowadays, because I don't think that there's a downside to having that creative outlet throughout your life. I know for me it helped me even when I was doing the serious business stuff, in that the creative thinking, learning how to solve problems and discipline, like you said.
Another way of looking at things, too.
Mm-hmm.
You could look at a painting like we did yesterday and just say, gee, I thought he would have done it some other way.
Yeah.
But look at the problems that we have nowadays. It's basically to take a look at things from different perspectives to come up with different solutions.
Art makes you think, right? So we're going to go to our first song. I've got Jennifer Pepin from the J. Pepin Gallery is holding on the line, and we're going to talk to her as soon as we come back. This song is for my daughter, Paigey, who just graduated, and this is Paige by local singer Darren Wayne. This is going to be my hardest part when we come back because I'm going to talk with her a little bit, but I'm going to read. This is like such a personal show for me because I'm actually going to read the submission that I gave to her, about my anxiety.
That's great.
I think it's really good to put it out there, but I have to tell you, I was very nervous this morning, like I haven't been in a while, so this is actually a big deal for me. So, you know what, Wayne, I'm actually really glad you're here for the support. Thank you.
It's relaxing, that's one of the things that you were asking me about, and it reduces stress. Art works, and there's about 7 things, at least. One, it reduces stress, it chills out.
I really wished I'd had time to paint this morning, because that would have helped.
You see,
it really does.
There you go, and I think that's where I'm going.
Keep that with you. I might, if I have an opportunity, I might have you throw that out there.
I've already mentioned one of them, which is another way of looking at things to solve problems, whether you go into art or not.
Okay.
I think that's important, the part that you're going to be talking about.
You think so?
See, it's not only art. That's what yesterday's speaker was saying. She was saying it's not art as an end, but it's all the other things that takes place. Your discipline, learning how to run your own program single-handed, literally.
Right. Oh, okay, I gotta focus. You are back on with Art on the Airwaves with Cammy Davis, and that was Paige for my youngest daughter, Paige, and that is by Darren Wayne singing that song. My guest today is Jennifer Pepin from the J. Pepin Gallery in the Pearl District in Portland. Her gallery is inspiring and interesting and is focused on the beauty that can come from having a mental illness. Jennifer was amazing enough to place 2 of my paintings in her gallery for the month of July. And I have noticed as I've been telling people about it that it's almost like how I phrase it too. Like I kind of started with my friends and I said, oh, I have some paintings that are going in this beautiful Portland gallery. I'm so excited. And the gallery is about mental illness and art. And you kind of see this look and you can see them, I can see them like looking at me trying to figure out why. And I said, I've struggled with anxiety and depression my entire life. Actually, I'm going to read, for those of you who are listening, I'm going to read the submission that I sent in to Jennifer. And I apologize, Jennifer. I know you've read this, and this is going to take a second, but this is actually really personal for me to be giving this information out, but I want to do it because I know a lot of artists that I've spoken with, a lot of human beings that I've spoken with that deal with different things, and I want to show, I guess, how one artist myself is dealing with it. So the question on the submission form that Jen sent me said, please tell us about yourself, including how art has played a role in your life having a mental illness. For example, art as a result of extreme mood states or how it has helped you cope. So here was my response. I was always called sensitive, moody, and emotional growing up. Rather than giving me the tools to deal with my emotions, I was labeled by my family, and I hated that about myself. It was only in the past year that I even found out that mental illness is strong on one side of my family. The family members who were labeling me were also struggling with depression, and I found out that bipolar disease runs on that side of my family as well. So I spent my life trying not to be the emotional mess that they labeled me as. Trying to be someone you are not does not help mental illness. I went through a period of struggling with simple tasks like getting out of bed each morning. Everything was difficult and dark, and thoughts of suicide hit during the worst moments. I sought help. I was diagnosed with severe chronic depression. I worked with medication for anxiety and depression, and I went to therapy to figure out how to control those parts of me that seemed so uncontrollable. I chose to work in a structured office environment. I shoved aside my creative side, and very few people even knew about it. Weekends were my heaven. I didn't go out, and I had very few friends because I needed that time to paint and create and get my emotions under control so I could be emotionless during the work week. I feel like for many years I just existed. Then 7 years ago, the economy fell, and I was laid off my job in escrow. I was a single mother, but my daughters were almost grown, and I decided to go back to school. It was the first time I allowed myself to think that there was an alternative to hiding my creative side and instead embracing it as a way to support myself. I didn't know how I would make that happen, but I started a blog called How to Live a Creative Life and decided I wanted to figure out how to do that. And then I signed up for an art booth at a farmer's market, and I started taking one step each day. The process of believing in myself built my confidence. I started understanding that my creativity was important. I tried to put self-criticism in the background and just paint what I felt. As I have grown in my art and gained success in my art business, the depression has taken a back seat. I have put myself out there by creating videos, giving presentations, creating and directing art events, and I have my own art-focused radio show, which of course is what you're listening to right now, Art on the Airwaves. But I have realized that anxiety is not something that will leave completely. It's always lurking in the background. When the anxiety is under control, I feel confident. Those times are momentous and empowering, and then something triggers me, family triggers, a broken relationship, too many anxiety-inducing presentations or meetings, and I'm right back there. But now, rather than trying to hide in a structured, safe work environment, I have the outlet and answer to my anxiety, and it's my art. I've learned to make time to shut my door, ignore the phone, and just create and breathe. The anxiety doesn't disappear, I just have a way to work through it. I'm gentle on myself and accepting that I need those times to disappear. And some people will understand, and many will not. My friends have learned that when I don't answer the phone, I'm in one of my artistic phases, and those are the moments when I can just be myself and breathe. She's good. She's doing great.
Yeah, for the studio, Janet.
Jennifer.
Especially with the subtitle, which is mental health and art.
When we come back, I'm going to have you read your things, and then because I didn't know when I turned the mic on, I didn't know if she knew who you were because she hadn't heard the first part. Mm-hmm. So 54 seconds. So when we come back, I'll start with that, and I'll put her on so she can hear you read them, and then we'll get back to her. I'm back on with Art on the Airwaves with Cammy Davis, and I am in the studio today with, I have Jennifer Pepin on the phone and Wayne Ching in the studio. Welcome back, you guys.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Jen, are you still there? Okay, fabulous. I'm going to start this little segment by having Wayne brought in some things, some words and comments about how art affects our lives or helps our lives. So let's start with you reading those to us, Wayne.
Well, let me preface it just by saying something really quickly.
Okay.
And
you can do that.
My feeling is that we're talking about art not as only a finished product, but also about the journey that gets you there. And, the phrase that we hear a lot about, it's not only the destination, but the ride.
Right.
That counts. And I think a lot of art is the ride. And connected with that, what do you experience? Well, one thing is you learn how to communicate. Mm-hmm. Communicate what you're doing. Communicate the art piece. Tell people what you're doing. Second thing we've talked about already so far in this program, which is wonderful, which you've covered, it reduces stress.
Yes.
And because it reduces stress, it sets you free from other things that you weren't aware of before. Another thing is an introduction to business.
This is true.
Because you got to be sustainable.
Yes.
Then it teaches discipline, tremendous discipline. We have so many stories about people going off and getting lost just to find themselves. And in doing that, you learn to be very disciplined and to do things.
Yes.
Keeps your brain, another thing is it keeps your brain active.
Yes, this is good. I need that.
And especially for me, I'm in my early 70s, and I need to do things to keep my brain functioning and thinking.
Yeah.
Art also reaches out to science. At some point, fine art and fine science touch.
Yes, you hear that a lot.
And that's really important. And of course, the last one that I had on my list is that it's another way of looking at a problem.
I love that. Thanks for bringing those in. Those are very cool, Wayne. Jennifer, I don't think that you heard my introduction when you came on, but I have Wayne Ching in the studio with me, and he is a local, he does microfunding for some of our local projects within the community, and he's sponsoring my Edgy Art event this year, so it's great to have him in this studio. I know. Don't you just love having people like that who support the arts And I told you how fast the show would go, Jen, and I was so right. I could sit here and talk to you for hours. Any last thoughts before we say goodbye? And your gallery not only is beautiful and some of the best art that I saw when I was between Seattle and Portland and the coast and everything. It is an amazing gallery, but it also is so touching and just about the human spirit. So I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for being on. And I want to say to our listeners, if you are listening and have questions about anything that we've discussed today, you can contact me at cammydavisart@gmail.com. Make sure you visit her gallery in the Pearl District next time you're up in Portland, and her website is jpepinartgallery.com. Thank you so much, Janet, and give Chris a hug for me. Okay, bye. I want to thank my other guest today in the studio, which is Wayne Chang. Wayne, thank you so much for being with us today.
It's been wonderful being here. Remember, it's the ride that counts.
It's the ride. I love that Wayne wanted to see what happened in the radio, and I said, come on down. So if you're listening, if you're an artist or just a listener, and sometime you want to come and hang out at Art on the Airwaves, shoot me an email. I'd be glad to have you. Thank you for listening, and tune in on first and third Fridays from 1 to 2 or anytime on iTunes or SoundCloud. You just search Cammy Davis or Art on the Airwaves, and that should come up for you. All the links, again, are on artontheairwaves.com. And I'm going to sing you out with another local band. This is We'll Be Together by the Rogue Suspects. Thank you for listening to Art on the Airwaves with Cammy Davis. Okay.